Kiffin just said, don't judge us on year one. And also, please don't compare us to the other place after he spent multiple days comparing himself to the other place. He's making up an alibi. He's setting up an excuse. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everydayers? I'm Stephen Willis. Welcome back to Locked On Ole Miss. Thursday countdown to kickoff today. Big show. Lane Kiffin just said, don't judge LSU by year one. And he compared his program, said, do not compare his program to the other place. He's talking about Ole Miss. That's a man that already knows he's losing September 19th, and he's softening the landing for whoever's listening. We're going to also preview the Music City kickoff against Louisville on September 6th. Jeff Brohm's fourth portal quarterback in 4 years and an O-line that's banged up. And tonight in Tuscaloosa, Hunter Elliott takes the mound for the biggest non-Omaha start of his career. Let's get started. Coach Spraytan told the world not to judge his LSU team after year one. Then he said, don't compare LSU year one to the other place. He's talking about Ole Miss. That's not confidence, everydayers. That's kind of a preloaded alibi if you think about it. Listen, Lane Kiffin gave On 3 an interview on Monday that said Lane Kiffin is chasing greatness after leaving Ole Miss for LSU. Great. Okay, whatever. The chasing greatness framing is kind of the giveaway, though, because you don't say you're chasing greatness if you are great. They're saying this isn't a finished product, and he has been telling people all spring not to go overboard about the talent. Now, a $40 or $50 million roster, that world doesn't exist anymore, but at least he's trying. Inside that piece, two lines that tell you everything about where Lane Kiffin is really thinking heading into September 19th. Line 1, do not judge LSU by year one. Line 2, do not compare LSU to the other place, which is what he calls Ole Miss, honestly now, because he can't bring himself to say the name. Everydayers, this is an untrustworthy coach who's preloaded year one excuse and who cannot stop himself comparing LSU to Ole Miss. This is a man that already knows what's coming on September 19th and is trying to get ahead of it. He is softening the landing 4 months in advance. So stay with me. I'm going to break down both lines and explain what Coach Spraytan really is telling us. The first line, do not judge us by year one. Think about what that actually means for a second. Lane Kiffin signed for 7 years, $91 million, walked into a $40 million roster. LSU ate a $54 million buyout with Brian Kelly just to get him there. And the first thing he tells LSU is, hey, year one, we're not going to be that good. You don't want to get overboard on that. That's not confidence. That's kind of insurance. When a coach is getting paid nearly $91 million, says don't judge us year one, he's telling you he knows that year one is not going to look like what they paid for. That's what that means. And the biggest game of year one is September 19th in Vaught-Hemingway, and that's not even particularly close. Why is this the proof? Untrustworthy coaches build the excuse before the loss. It's coming. So when the loss comes, the narrative is already set. Kiffin did this at Tennessee. He did this at USC. He did this at the Raiders. He's now doing this at LSU as well. So don't judge year one is the alibi for losing to Ole Miss, for losing the SEC opener, for finishing 8-4 and missing the playoffs. When a guy with that track record of being untrustworthy starts hedging year one in May, everydayers, he's telling you what he expects. And here's what nobody else is telling you right now. The second line, please don't compare us with the other place. Think about that. Kiffin won't say Ole Miss for whatever reason. He's the one that left Ole Miss, but he seems to be the scorned X in this situation. honestly, with Lane Kiffin, we should just say, okay, that's just going to be the way it is. He calls it the other place. He calls it the last place. He calls it the previous place, like he did in Vanity Fair. So when a coach refuses to say Ole Miss in a national interview, that's avoidance. That's a man trying to control the framing. And why the comparison is the tale, there's only one reason a coach makes that comparison 4 months before a game. He knows the comparison is going to come out one way on the scoreboard. We're in a scoreboard business. Ole Miss has a better roster than LSU. If that game gets played 100 times, Ole Miss wins 70. Lane Kiffin knows that. He realizes what's happening. He sees the holes on his own roster, and he thinks that, hey, we have a puncher's chance to win that game, but that game's going to be difficult, especially with the atmosphere and everything around it. He's not building a list of things that LSU has won that Ole Miss hasn't, because Ole Miss won 2 playoff wins in 5-6 months ago. Since COVID, LSU has been a remarkably average team. Ole Miss is coming off of a playoff appearance where they were the last team in the SEC standing. So Kiffin is comparing dollars, by the way. Pete Golding is comparing playoff wins. It's pretty cool, right? One coach is selling potential. We're going to. Remember, we talked about this. Pete Golding said the worst thing that you can say in recruiting is going to. So they're having to overbid, overpay for players to get in the door. One coach is selling proof. And that's awesome. I need you to hear this part. What both lines together prove. Translation, please don't notice when LSU loses to that team on left, because it's not going to count. Year one doesn't count. That's the alibi on the record with Wilson Alexander of On 3 4 months before the game. Coach Spraytan looked at Pete Golding's college football playoff roster. He saw Trinidad returning. He saw Sontaran Perkins back. He saw the number 2 portal class just right below where he sat. And he knew. So the apology tour started late Monday afternoon after he said what he said. He continued into Tuesday, and into Tuesday, he came to the conclusion, I'm going to lose this game. So after 3 interviews in 7 days, Pete Golding, he's done 0 comments. Lane Kiffin is just an untrustworthy guy. So don't judge LSU by year one. It's kind of a smoking gun of exactly what he thinks is going to happen. So everydayers, when Ole Miss wins September 19th, Kiffin will point back at the On 3 interview and say, yeah, I told you not to judge year one. So mark it down. Lane Kiffin loses. The year one alibi set up in May. Does Lane Kiffin, he says, don't judge year one line, prove that he knows that he's losing in September? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. We'll see how that goes as well. So thanks for watching the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, the most watched Ole Miss podcast out there as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network in America. Louisville released their 2-deep depth chart. Jeff Brohm's 4th portal quarterback in 4 years, 2 injured offensive tackles, by the way, and 1 matchup edge that makes the Music City kickoff look pretty good for Ole Miss. All of that, well, it's coming up next. If you've ever opened your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? Well, you're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills can get overwhelming pretty fast. That is where Rocket Money comes in, helping you take control of all of your finances in one place. It automatically categorizes your spending so you can actually see where your money is going. And you can set budgets, get alerts. You can stay on top of upcoming bills. It just makes everything feel a little bit more organized and gives you a clearer picture of your finances day to day. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, if you're curious. It monitors your spending. It helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That is rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Hey, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to, and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but it keeps all of this free. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free with the Everydayer Club. You get that, plus members-only Discord access. Join at lockedonolemiss.supercast.com today. You can hear from Coach Corey Burton, Mike Huseman, Dalen Flowers, all those guys behind the paywall at Locked On Ole Miss, giving you some pretty great stuff whenever they're going. We're getting to the offseason and all of that. You should see little John David Baker breakdowns from Corey Burton as it comes up pretty quick. So I'm excited to see which direction it will go. So Sunday, September 6th, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, ABC, Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. That's Music City kickoff time. That is not a Saturday afternoon get right opener. That's a Sunday night ABC primetime game against a team that has won about 9 games a year for the last 3 years and defeated Miami last year. So this is a tough game. Ole Miss is favored currently by 8.5 points. Louisville actually released their post-spring 2-deep depth chart on April 22nd. Everydayers, ABC put this game on Sunday night for a reason. The country wants to see what Pete Golding does in week 1. So stay with me. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why the Rebels cover the 8.5 and one Louisville threat that really could keep this close, okay? Number 1, the stage, national TV, national audience, Trinidad and the Heisman campaign. That campaign is debuting. Kewan Lacey on national television. Perkins on every highlight reel. ABC didn't pick this game by accident. I think it's the only game week 1 that's ranked versus ranked. The country wants to see Ole Miss. Louisville, their head coach is Jeff Brohm. He coached Purdue and got a reputation when he coached the Boilermakers as the spoiler makers, as they play really good whenever they are the underdog. They usually get somebody once per year. So head coach Jeff Brohm, he's in year 4. His starting quarterback is Lincoln Kienholz. I might be pronouncing that last name, but I'm mispronouncing that, so apologize for that. He's a transfer from Ohio State. He's a redshirt junior. Kienholz is Brohm's 4th consecutive portal starting quarterback at Louisville. It's his 4th in 4 years. That's what Jeff Brohm does. He goes out and finds a guy, turns into a dude, and he wins football games with him. He did it last year with, I think it was Mason Miller is his name. I could have that name a little bit wrong, but this is a kid that transferred from USC. The spring game per SI's Matthew McGavick said it was just okay. He just played okay. Backup Devin Winder actually outplayed him. Don't put too much stock in a spring game. Jackson Dartn's first spring game was absolutely dreadful. A first-year portal quarterback making his Louisville debut on Sunday night, ABC, against a college football playoff semifinal defense. Well, that's a baptism by fire. So reason 1, the Rebels cover, the pass rush matchup. Louisville's offensive line is banged up. Left tackle Anwar O'Neal is out for the first few weeks of the season with an injury. Right tackle Cason Henry is also recovering from an injury that could affect that game. That means Perkins, Maldonado, Purchase, Cam Franklin, they can pin their ears back against a backup left tackle on national television. Highest career sack total of any returning Rebel against a backup left tackle on Sunday night ABC. That's a coming out party potentially. Reason number 2, Louisville lost 2 starting wide receivers per the SI. 2 deep, Chris Hughes and Montaven Quisenberry, they're done for 2026. The wide receiver room is now 3 transfers. That's Trey Richardson from Vandy, LaWayne McCoy from FSU, and Trayshawn Hurry. And, an unknown unit asked to build chemistry with a brand new quarterback against Sharif Denson, Antonio Kai, Jay Crawford, a true freshman Dorian Barney, those guys. So don't touch that dial. The Louisville danger is coming up. It's real, okay? The Louisville threat in this game comes from Clev Lubin. He's a Leo. That's, I guess, the Louisville equivalent of the jack that Ole Miss runs. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. He's a redshirt senior. In 2025, he had 13 and a half tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks. There's a quote from SI that says he's one of the best pass rushers in all of college football, somebody that you need to keep an eye on. His backup is Tyler Thompson, who had 7 sacks at North Carolina a year ago. Lubin is the one Louisville player who can disrupt a John David Baker game plan. Patrick Kudus and the whole offensive line has to know where this number 11 lines up every single snap. Every single one. He is a game wrecker. If you allow him, he will mess up your offensive line. Reason number 3, Isaac Brown is a real threat. SI called him one of the top overall players in the entire sport. He was going to get his yards. He's one of the great running backs in college football right now. He's a future NFL back. The problem, Brown can't play defense, and the rest of the offense is a portal quarterback, 2 injured tackles, and a depleted wide receiver room. So reason 4, the Ole Miss connection, Louisville's backup free safety, is TJ Banks. Remember him? Played a good bit for Ole Miss a year ago, the former Ole Miss safety. He'll be on the sideline that Sunday night, so there'll be no secrets. He'll understand the rules of what is going on. So my prediction in that game, I got Ole Miss winning 38-24. Cover that game by halftime. Louisville's going to be game, but it could be something like 28-10 at halftime, potentially. Trinidad throws for 280 and 3 touchdowns in a Heisman debut. Lacey gets to triple digits on about 20 carries, and Pete Golding's defense gets to Kindholtz about 4 times. So everydayers, write this down. Sunday, September 6th, 6:30 p.m. ABC. Ole Miss 38, Louisville 24. So does Ole Miss cover the 8.5 in your mind on Sunday Night Football on ABC? Drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know exactly how that stands. Should be really interesting stuff with what is going on, and I'm excited to see which direction it goes. I mean, it's going to be really cool. So remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube, and a special hello to our everydayers who make this show what it is, your team every day. Hunter Elliott just joined Drew Pomerantz and Lance Lynn in the 300 Strikeout Club. Tonight in Tuscaloosa, he takes the mound with a hosting bid potentially on the line. This might be the biggest non-Omaha start in his career. All of that is coming up next. So tonight in Tuscaloosa, Sewell Thomas Stadium, first pitch, Hunter Elliott is on the mound for Ole Miss. Game 1 of the Alabama series, final regular season weekend of the year, hosting bid coming out of the outcome. This is the biggest start of Hunter Elliott's career outside of Omaha. I'm not going to put this up with Omaha, but the fact that hosting is on the line and Ole Miss needs 2 wins, and how hard it will be if you do not get the first game to win the series gets interesting. It gets real. So everydayers, Hunter Elliott came back to put this team in position to host in Swayze. Tonight he's going to get the chance to set it up. So stay with me. These are 3 things you need to know about Hunter Elliott. Fact number 1, he just joined the 300 Strikeout Club. Last Friday versus Texas A&M, Hunter Elliott threw 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. His 7th K was his 300th of his career. He finished at 304. Only 3 Ole Miss pitchers ever, Drew Pomerantz, Lance Lynn, and Hunter Elliott, can say that. Pomerantz pitched in a World Series. Lynn has pitched in a World Series. Elliott is the 3rd name. That's history. Fact number 2, I think he's the best of the 3 in strikeout rate as well. Drew Pomerantz was 1.26 per inning. 1.16, per inning. Lance Lynn was 1.1 per inning. Hunter Elliott, 1.28 per inning. That's a higher rate than both of those guys, and they could really mow some people down. Per inning, Hunter Elliott is the best strikeout pitcher Ole Miss has ever had. It's crazy to think about, but per statistics and analytics and things like that, he's on the list. Pound for pound, Elliott has more strikeout stuff than any pitcher who's ever worn a Rebel uniform. Let that sink in. Here's what nobody is telling you at the moment. Fact number 3, he started the 2022 national title game as a freshman. That's the reason I say outside of Omaha, that's a pretty big game. Talk about big moments and the ability to rise up. That's the 2022 College World Series in Omaha, national championship game. The starter on the mound was a freshman named Hunter Elliott. He allowed only 4 runs across his entire 2022 postseason, and he won a national championship as a freshman starter. He's been here before. The lights are not going to freak him out. He's a national champion starter, best strikeout rate in program history. Alabama might not be ready for what's about to walk out that night. The tonight foul, Sewell Thomas Stadium. I don't know why I said Tommy Sewell. Sewell Thomas Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Ole Miss 34-18, 14-13 overall. Bama 33-17, 14-11. Hosting bid seems to be alive with a series win, maybe for both of them. I think both of them might need to get there. Elliott, 2026, he's 5-2. He has 88 strikeouts in 65 innings. Alabama game 1 likely starter is Tyler Fay, 4.33 ERA. He's the only Alabama pitcher under 5 and in ERA. Mike Bianco on the record Friday. He's certainly one of the legendary starters that we've ever had. I don't ever believe it's the last time for Hunter Elliott. You know, my prediction in this game, I think Elliott's going to show out. He always seems to rise to large occasions. So I think Hunter Elliott goes 7 innings. He allows a couple of runs. Maybe he strikes out 9. Ole Miss wins game 1, 6-3. Walker Hooks gets the save in the 9th inning. Bianco's club takes a 1-0 lead into Friday with the hosting bid 1 win away from basically being clinched. So everydayers, write this down. Elliott pitches 7. Ole Miss wins 6-3. 300 strikeout club. It's bigger. Is tonight the night? Does Hunter Elliott pitch Ole Miss past Alabama tonight? Drop your prediction down in the comment section below and let me know exactly how you feel. And as always, tell me in the comments what you're seeing, because the everydayers are usually ahead of the national media on this type of stuff. You're not the smartest audience in all of ball for no reason. Thanks for tuning in today to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Before we get out of here, tomorrow's show, we're going to continue to talk potentially about Lane Kiffin because he set all of this up. I do appreciate the content that he provided in the middle of May, but we're going to keep talking about it over and over this week. If that's tiresome to you, check out segment 2, segment 3, because it's usually just a 1-segment thing. Subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, and we will see you tomorrow, everydayers. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, and we're going to tell you exactly what's going on every single day. We're on all the social channels as well, so check that out as well. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and more. Head to lockedonolemiss.supercast.com to join the club. You can hear from Dalen Flowers, Corey Burton, and, of course, Mike Huseman. For those of you on video, we're going to send you the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel and audio. Make sure you make your second listen Locked On College Basketball. Subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, and we will see you tomorrow, everydayers. Hotty toddy. And we'll see exactly how it goes. Good luck to the Rebels tonight.